Hello everyone, I'm back. This is Fedora Joe's Cooking. Now, this is the conclusion of the one egg cake in the skillet for 20 minutes. Now, I'm going to show you the good and the bad every time we bake. So if it turns out good, then it'll be a great thing, and if it doesn't, then I'm also going to show you. Now, let me tell you what happened with this cake. One, I recommend that you do not cook it in a cast iron skillet. I do a lot of my cooking in cast iron, but I did not um, plan on it to come out quite like that. Now, also, I recommend cooking it in a regular skillet, probably 8 to 10 inch skillet. I wouldn't cook any longer than 8, do any bigger than 8 to 10 inch. Will not do a 12-inch skillet. Because the cast iron, of course, generates a little bit more heat than the regular skillet. So, I recommend that you use a regular skillet. And also, because it burns, now you might be able to adjust this burn, well I will anyway, to adjust this burn with just the skillet alone. Now if I can do that, then I will go back and spray the pan as opposed to, now I also butter and sugar it like it says to, but I will also spray this pan. The recipe I seen, then there was no spraying in the pan. So that being said, now the cake itself with the apples was not too bad. Cake actually had a good taste with the apples. Wasn't bad at all. I think that I will test this with some peaches prior to our next installment of the videos when I come back on after we do our eggless bread pudding recipe. And so that's what I plan on doing. I am got it in my little serving pan here. Like I said, the cake, not too bad. It's burned up a little bit on the top. So, top layer of that cake, of course, most of it's not eatable. So, you know what? You live and you learn. You do a recipe, might not be so good. I bet you I tried bread pudding 10, 15 times before it ever got to the consistency that I wanted it to be. Now, I'd had bread pudding in school and college and different things like that, but I had not had it at home or anything, so until I tried to make it, until I got it right. Now, I make 2 bread puddings, a peach bread pudding, and I make a les tresses, I think I'm saying that right, bread pudding, which takes 9 eggs to do. It's actually, I think, 9 egg whites to do, or yolks, I cannot remember right off the top of my head at this point, but just remember to adjust your skillet. This was a fail for me, so adjust your skillet. Don't use cast iron. I would recommend spraying the pan first, and then butter, and then a little sugar, or greasing it, however you want to do it, and then add a little butter and then sugar. You don't want to put too much sugar, because I think that's what contributed to some of that burn. So, and the cake itself, the taste is good, but I think it just needs some kind of sauce over top of it. Like some kind of, not really an icing, because this is like a cake made with apples. It needs some kind of sauce, like some kind of homemade sauce to go over top of it, some kind of drizzle. And I'll tell you what, before I make this again, I will come up with a drizzle. I will think of a drizzle, and I will come up with a drizzle for this recipe prior to doing it again. Because I just think the cake needs some kind of drizzle on it, because it was definitely this time a fail. But the cake itself didn't taste too bad as far as the batter and everything with the apples. But I would, that's how I would adjust the recipe for next time. And of course, like I said, I will have made a recipe for drizzle by then. And we'll do this again, because it's a pretty simple cake to make. You just have to watch the burn and the browning of the cake when you do it, because if you do it in a cast iron skillet, it's going to generate a lot more heat. So I recommend, like I said, a regular skillet. Grease it, butter it, and then sugar. And remember what I said about that cup of flour. The 3/4 cup, I don't think is just enough for that recipe to make a cake batter. So add another 1/4 cup of flour to make it a cup, and that will give you the consistency of the batter that you're going to have to pour over the apples. You know, and I think I'm going to adjust those apples as well. I think I'm going to cut those apples up as opposed to rings next time. We'll make it up real good. We'll make it up something different that I'm going to do that, well, you guys can see, except for, opposed to the one that was on YouTube. I'm going to make up something totally new, kind of like that, but be a whole new recipe. Well, it'll be the same cake batter recipe, but will be different in pan, fruit, all that stuff. So till next time, our next video here in a little while is going to be eggless bread pudding. Now, like I said, I've only had luck with the peach bread pudding and the Les Tresses bread pudding. The rest, I just don't see the some. I mean, it's good. The taste is good. I like it a little thicker, a little better consistency. And those two seem to knock it out of the park with consistency. So I go with what I know. But we're going to do a eggless bread pudding recipe that doubled up a little bit. Initially called for 4 slices of bread. I put enough to put the bottom of a 9x9 pan, which is about 10 slices of, I'm using Italian bread this time, so I'll get to that video here in just a minute. But I'll thank you guys for tuning in and watching me fail with this cake. Like I said, by the time we do this again, I will have adjusted everything, and I will have made a drizzle for this cake. Just need a little something extra. So hope you guys will subscribe to the channel and keep watching Fedora Joe's Cooking. Thank you.